हेलो फ्रेंड्स, वेलकम बैक टू माय चैनल। अभी तक अगर आप मेरा इंस्टाग्राम फॉलो कर रहे हो या पूरा पिछला पोस्ट देखा हो तो, या अभी भी ये वीडियो देख रहे हो तो समझ में आ ही गया होगा that there is a brand new update. My new ride, the Himalayan 450. जैसे कि मैंने काफ़ी सारे पिछले वीडियोस में भी बोला था कि मुझे मन है अपग्रेड करने का, एंड स्पेशली टू द वाओ लुक एट द व्यू एडवेंचर टूरर कैटेगरी। हेलमेट बंद करता हूँ तो यार चश्मे पे फॉग आ जाता है, तो हेलमेट खोला मैंने। यस, सो आई ऑलवेज वांटेड टू अपग्रेड एंड आई चोज द एडवेंचर टूरर कैटेगरी बिकॉज मुझे लॉन्ग डिस्टेंसेस करने हैं, ऑफ कोर्स विथ अ पिलियन करने हैं। सो I thought the best move for me would be an adventure tourer. Definitely cruisers भी थे, but cruiser bikes मुझे I don't know, I don't feel myself attracted to them unless it's a fat Harley Davidson. But yeah, adventure tourers feel more multi-purpose. लगेज बांध दो, पिलियन डाल दो, और of course ground clearance भी. So even if it is overloaded, which of course I want to overload it, but you get the point. So let's continue talking more about it, like why I chose this over the other competitors and what other competitors I had in my list, in my short list. Also why and how I got it, rather. We'll also talk about what now and what next. So let's talk about the competition. I mean the competition of the Royal Enfield Himalayan 450. Now there are a lot of bikes in India right now in the sub 500 category. The 450s, the Triumph Speed 400 and the Scrambler 400. We have the KTM Adventure 390. Then we also have a few more adventure tourer motorcycles, adventure tourers, that are the Suzuki V-Strom 250, as well as the, which one I'm forgetting, X-Pulse. Yeah, we have the Hero X-Pulse as well. But why Himalayan then? So first I'll talk about the ones with the less power in this category, that is the V-Strom and X-Pulse. So those are 200cc motorcycles, and from what I've heard, like, they are comfortable bikes, no doubt, but from a pillion perspective, the V-Strom seat is a bit stiff. I mean, it is still comfortable, but over long journeys it might get a bit uncomfortable. Plus I wanted to upgrade higher. The क्या बोलते हैं, लालच. Yes, that was greed on my part. I wanted to go to the 400 segment. So yeah, X-Pulse seat is also very tiny, the pillion seat. Oh, that's a Ford, it seems. Nice cloud cover, man. Or V-Strom ka, as I said, basically I just considered the 200 and 250cc models, but then I gave up on them because I had higher cc options. Now I've been driving an R15 for the last 7 years, so even 200 or 250 would have been an upgrade for me, but I felt I was ready for a bit higher. Look at the views. That brings us to the closest we have to the 450 is the Triumphs, the 400 twins from Triumph. 400 speed looks a little bit tiny to my liking. I mean, I've driven an R15 all this time. It still turns heads, you know. Even now, if I go out with that R15, people still turn around and look at her. That's not something that would happen with the Triumph Speed, at least, as per my opinion. And Scrambler also didn't look much big. It definitely is bigger than the Speed in terms of seat height and all, but yeah, this, look at this is what I'm talking about. So the Triumphs, they don't look big. They are big but not big. Then comes the KTM Adventure 390, one of the best adventure tourers out there. Before the Himalayan 450 launched, it didn't even have a competition. I mean, people considered the BMW 310 GS to be its competition, but well, you get a 310cc, less power and torque compared to the 390, and of course the BMW 310 GS has the best suspension and the best comfort in this segment. But yeah, there are places where you cannot win against a KTM 390. The power delivery, the torque it offers, and road presence, of course, both have a decent amount of road presence. But yeah, the KTM 390 Adventure is what even I would have preferred any day. So I had actually seen videos of the Dream Chaser. You can search on YouTube, I'll add him in the description. Dream Chaser and Mountain Man DG, they both went on a trip to Europe on their KTM 390 Adventures. They shipped their KTM 390 Adventures to Turkey, then they took off to, I think, 24 or 25 countries for a duration of around 2 or 3 months maybe. So KTM 390 is a proven machine, the Austrian manufactured Austrian machine. So there was no doubt about it that it is worth a buy. It was worth a shot. But there are rumors that there's a new KTM 390 being launched towards the end of this year. There's no official confirmation yet, but when I was buying this Royal Enfield Himalayan, KTM 390 had a new model coming up. So I felt buying the old 390 would, it would hurt in the long run. When I bought the R15 V2, 6 months later the V3 was launched. I didn't want to feel that again. So you get the point. And of course the next 390 would have been a bit pricier than the current one. So yeah, it was a bit off budget. So that brings me to the Royal Enfield 450, which we will talk about in a while. So next, Royal Enfield Himalayan 450. Ta-da! तो मैंने इसको, मतलब ये लॉन्च हुई तब से, एक्चुअली even before this was announced, when I rode my friend's old Himalayan, I was taken aback at how comfortable a bike can be. It was effortless. मतलब उस actually उसका जो side stand है वो भी it's like almost the bike is standing upright. The problem with this one is this leans a bit more. That one is more upright. So उसको stand से हटाया. I just drove it in the parking lot, and it was so damn comfortable. And then I had started watching vlogs of other YouTubers, that, like I mentioned, Dream Chaser, then there's the Rider Girl Vishakha and all those guys, and a few more who own the Himalayan old ones. Also the adventure tourer category in general. So I was like, last year when I went to the India Bike Week, I had to travel alone because it is not easy to ride on this for a pillion for such a long distance. It's around 450 odd kilometers, and even I was bruised back there. But ठीक है, I'm a bit used to it, so it was fine for me, but of course it's not fine for my wife. So I had to get an upgrade which is more suitable for a pillion as well. The first time जब I saw it, we had gone on to the Rajgarh trek. वो आपने देखा ही होगा. If not, then please check out my last video. So there was a Himalayan standing in the parking lot. I tried picking it up and I could not. I simply could not. Maybe because we had just been back from a trek. It was a long one. I think it took us 5 to 6 hours or even more to complete it. So I was exhausted. I couldn't lift it up. But then I thought, yeah, I have to take a test ride of this vehicle. So it was when I was in Vadodara that one of my friends asked me to come with him. He wanted to take a test ride of some bike. I said, yeah, why not? Even I want to take a test ride of some bike. He wanted to take a test ride of Triumph, but sadly we couldn't find a Triumph in Vadodara. But of course they had a Royal Enfield for a test ride. So that was my first test ride, and I felt quite what do I say, it was quite a big change from an R15. Definitely the power, the torque, the pickup. Then when I came back to Pune, I took a test ride twice, once with my father, once with my wife, and the third time it was my parents' anniversary when I took my father again, and we had a few questions actually, but then I just booked it. The cons of this motorcycle. इतना city ride किया है ना, so I have a few points to share. Now the first thing is the heat. Of course I am used to a bit of heat from the R15, but this is, well, another level. This is the 450cc level. So yeah, बड़ा engine गर्म तो होगा ही. And definitely I won't be riding this in the city with just shorts on. It's not possible. मेरे बाल जल जाएंगे मेरे. Then और ज़्यादा तो कोई cons नहीं है. Just it's a bit different for me right now, but I'll get used to it. Low end torque की जो लोग बात करते हैं, I don't know what the hell is that. मतलब लोग बोलते हैं engine stall हो जाता है, bike stall हो जाता है. It has never happened to me yet. Maybe because I'm also used to R15, and so the showroom guy had mentioned कि R15 is also a rev happy engine, and this is also a rev happy engine. So if you are used to riding that, you won't find difficulty handling this engine, which I find to be true right now. I find no difficulty. What low end torque, I don't even know. 1,500 RPM पे there's no torque. I don't think you even stay at that RPM for long. Maybe if you are taking it to off-roads, there might be situations where you really need the low end torque, but so far I don't have complaints on the availability of torque anywhere. Yes, abhi tak to I have just ridden it up to the 4000 RPM mark since the first service is still due. So I'm following the protocol, and the top speed that it takes at 4k RPM is 80 kilometers per hour on the 6th gear. That's fine. That's good enough for city. Actually इसलिए मैंने city में चलाया, because I had to keep it under 4000 RPM and I had to vary the speed, not drive at a constant speed, which I might be doing right now because I'm, you know, talking and on a trip and not in the traffic. And the third, the elephant in the room, the weight. Yeah, the weight is a lot. Only if you have to maneuver it in the parking lot. Without turning it on, if you have to move it backwards or even front for that matter, all that is a big hassle. And putting it on the main stand I thought would be difficult, but now I'm quite used to it. So even that is not an issue. But maneuvering it with your bare hands is difficult. It is quite heavy, at least for me. हाँ, एक और चीज़ बतानी रह गई. Now इसका नाम रखना है मुझे. So I haven't named my R15 yet. I never thought that I should name my bike, but well, this time I'm thinking of something. So I thought about it and I have 4 names shortlisted. क्या था? One was Snowflake, one was Yeti, you know, the Yeti in the Himalayas, so Himalayan, so Yeti. Next 2 I found them, which were a bit Sanskrit names. One of them is Vimukti, which I personally like a bit more. And the next one I think was Mukti. So Mukti, Vimukti. And in case कुछ और रहेगा तो I'll add a poll, maybe along with the description, if it is possible to add a poll, or else as a separate post, because yeah, I really can't decide. So the final part that I wanted to cover with this video was the good about this motorcycle. Now, you know, I thought I'll just let you enjoy these views, but ये views खत्म ही नहीं हो रहे. So I thought, why not conclude this video while we are in these views. So let's talk about the good. So the first thing I want to make it clear is the benchmark that I'm comparing it with. Not exactly the benchmark, but whatever I had first was an R15. So whatever reviews I have are compared to the R15, including the cons. Yes, I forgot one of the cons, that is the vibrations. I don't feel them vibrations at all so far. And anyway, in the R15 I'm used to those vibrations. My hands would go numb. So that's the degree, that's the level of vibrations that R15 had to offer. Wow, look at that. It's kind of the source of this. But yeah. So I don't feel any vibrations on this one. And let's now jump to the pros, starting with the vibrations. So I've had pillions ride this. Matlab, I have even gone on a short ride with my mom. I have my friend sit as a pillion. I've had my wife, I have her even right now, my father. So many people have ridden this pillion, and one thing that they all agreed to was that my wife won't have any problem on long trips now. Like whatever small unevenness you saw in the road or the potholes, you know, if even on this patch would have been a pain on my R15, but here on the Himalayan you barely feel it, just cruise past it. And as per the reviews from the pillions, they don't feel it either. But my mom said that she didn't even realize we were going through the potholes, which she could have felt more on an Activa or even my R15. So that is one big positive, that it is very comfortable for the R15. These small potholes, the pillion doesn't feel them as much, sometimes doesn't feel them at all. It's a breeze. Secondly, coming back to R15, what power did it have? I think 14, 17 HP. This is 40 HP. The torque it had was also, I think, 14, 15 Newton meters. This again has 40 Newton meters. So comparing it with the R15, overtaking is a breeze. I can show you a demo right now. Well, this was no high speed overtake, but nah, demo not so successful, not but you get the point. Yeah, overtaking is a breeze, cruising is a breeze. I mean, I don't even realize that I've reached 80, whereas on the R15 I would feel, I mean, when I went to the IBW and Beyond trip last year, so beyond 70, 75, I would actually feel my engine pushing itself to go to 80. This one I don't even realize it has reached 80. So that's obvious, that's an obvious difference. So that is a pro for me, a reason to justify my upgrade. So we talked about pillion comfort, the suspension is great, the power delivery and everything is amazing. It needs better set of headlamps because the stock ones are not enough, man. Not even in city, I didn't feel like it has an adequate throw. I'm always blinded by the oncoming traffic. People here don't have a low beam at all. So aftermarket fog lights, aux lights are mandatory. So otherwise it is a brilliant piece of engineering. Engine looks quite refined, the pickup, torque, everything, it's good, no complaints. Plus the next steps will be getting the panniers and top box and also the aux lights, and I was also thinking maybe the handlebar guards, but that has to wait. It will be a few months down the line, before December. That brings us to the final topic. What next? So last year I had been to the India Bike Week. This year again I'll go to the India Bike Week. Last year I had gone beyond the India Bike Week. This year I will again go beyond the India Bike Week, but this year it will be called the Southern Odyssey. Yes, South Odyssey or Southern Odyssey. I have still not decided the entire route. I mean, I have two options. They all depend on the budget that I can gather up to that time. So one route will cover just the coast, from coast to coast, from Pune to Kanyakumari to Chennai, and then to Tirupati, Bangalore, and back to Pune. That is one route option. Next route option is Pune to Kanyakumari, of course, but it would be via all the possible hill stations that I can go to, like Coorg, of course. I love Coorg. Coorg is definitely on any list, on every list. Then Ooty, Kodaikanal this time, probably Wayanad or Munnar or Vagamon as well, maybe. So that would cover all the hill stations, and that would also take a longer time. So one trip, I think the coastal one would be done in 2 weeks, but this one, it would be done in let's say 3 to 4 weeks. So that's the plan. Depends on what kind of budget I can accumulate. So that is the big one. And of course, अभी तो monsoon चल ही रहा है. So as long as we have this heavenly weather, heavenly season, small rides would continue. I still want to cover Tamini Ghat. I want to go to Malshej Ghat. One day also to the Independence Point, Lions Point in Lonavala. So let's see, there's a lot of stuff that I have planned to do. Short rides will be coming up, and yes, I'll be regularly uploading them as well. कुछ नहीं हुआ तो कभी कभी I will go to the खंबात की घाट, have breakfast, come back. इतना तो कर ही सकता हूँ. Yes. So yeah, so those are the major trips planned. तो आज का वीडियो यहीं पे एंड करते हैं, unless there is something else that pops up, because rides can be eventful, you know. Views तो है ही मस्त, जाते हुए भी आपने देख ही लिए, and it's raining very beautifully. So that's it for today, I guess. I'll see you in the next vlog. Until then, keep watching. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, and also vote on what name I should give this beauty. Okay, I'll see you guys around. Bye bye. Thank you for watching.